iPhone 15 Pro. Is it a failed experiment for me? I've been using it. This is on day 4 now. So I got it Friday morning. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So I'm on the 4th day. And I just made a video yesterday talking about battery life because the battery life, I think it quite frankly sucks. And I'm going to show you that here in a minute because I've had a lot of folks in the comments going like, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know how to read the battery, etc., etc. And there's actually some black magic that Apple uses to make it look like you're getting better battery life than you actually are. And I think a lot of people don't understand this because if you take a look at the battery, if you look at it, it shows the past 24 hours. It doesn't necessarily show you from the last time it was charged. See, Android, when you charge it and you deplete the battery, if you look at it before you plug it in again, it tells you what the battery is since the last charge. That's not how Apple does it. And I actually had a problem with this when they came up with the system. But other than that, I don't want to just talk about battery in this video because there are quite a few things I actually like about this phone, and I'm going to compliment it. Yes, some compliments from Tech Odyssey on an iPhone. And y'all know I'm not allergic to doing that. I love the iPhone SE. I like the Pro size phone. I'm not a big fan of the Pro Max because it's just so large. I like smaller phones. I like the flagship full performance, but I like smaller phones. It's one of the reasons why I like the Sony Xperia 1 Mark V, the Mark IV, the Mark III. I like how thin it is. I don't like the big, gigantic, fat phones. This one is super, super light, all that stuff. But yeah, I like this size. It's perfect. It's great for one-handed use. I really like the rounded edges on here. And you don't think it makes a difference until you go back and you handle a 14 series phone. So I'm recording on my 14 Pro Max right now using my microphone. And I took it out of the case. I took this out of the case. And the 15 Pro just feels so much more comfortable in the hand. You don't have those sharper edges kind of digging into your hand. It doesn't feel as rough. It feels more polished and refined. So it's a very, very small change, but it is a change that I like. And then I like the action button, except I keep thinking the action button is the top volume rocker. So I've tried to turn my phone off by pressing that, and it didn't work. I keep trying to press the volume up, things like that. So it's taking a little muscle memory to get used to the action button that's up there. But overall, largely it's been a pretty positive experience as far as using the phone, everything I expected that it would be, other than the battery life. So let's get into that. That's one of the big things here because it's like the driving factor that's keeping me from wanting to keep using this phone and move over to the 15 Pro Max, which I have right here. So let's take it. I'm going to show you a little bit of a battery lesson here. Let's do it. All right, we're going to go ahead and take a look at some battery statistics stuff. So you go to your settings and you go to battery right here. So see what you have here is it shows the last 24 hours. So this gives you a false sense of how much you actually use the phone. See, it says the screen's been on for 5.5 hours. That's not since my charge today. See, my charge today, I'm at 78%. You can see I've only actually used it a couple of hours, like basically it's 2:46. I pulled it off the charger at noon, less than 3 hours. So I haven't used it that much. And you can see I've used it 52 minutes in that period. So if you look at the last 4 days, this looks actually high. Like the second day I had it, Saturday, it shows 7 hours and 48 minutes. So if you were to look at that, you go, wow, my screen was on for 7 hours and 48 minutes. That's insane. That's great battery life. But then you go back to this, and then you look at it, 5 hours and 30 minutes. Well, I've only had it off the charger for less than 3 hours. So no, I haven't used it that much. It's looking at yesterday's too. So to actually add up your true battery life, you have to go hour by hour block. So you click on this, if it'll let me. There we go. So you tap on it, 24 minutes in that block. So from 3 o'clock to basically 4 o'clock yesterday, and then you tap on the next one, 13 minutes. You tap on the next one, 7 minutes. You tap on the next one, 27 minutes. So you look at the charging period. So to find the true battery life for how much screen on time you have to look at today. So it's been off the charger for less than 3 hours, and you see here 13 minutes, 52 minutes, so that's roughly an hour, 22 minutes, and 14 minutes. So about an hour and a half. So I've got about an hour and a half of screen on time in about the last 3 hours, and I'm down to 23% off of that. So if you extrapolate that out, based off of that type of usage for 100%, that's about 6 hours. But I cut off when I get to 20%, because that's whenever battery mode, things like that, low battery, you start getting battery anxiety, looking for a charger, you start using your phone less, go to low power mode, things like that. Yeah. So I go from 100% to 20%, and what I'm seeing is about 4.5 hours without doing anything heavy. If you use the camera, take pictures, if you're recording video, anything like that, it's going to burn it up a lot faster. Essentially, I've been doing things like YouTube, social media stuff like Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, and replying to comments and just browsing the internet and barely getting 4.5 hours from 100% to 20% battery. So, just a little education lesson there. If you look at it and you're like, oh, yeah, I got 8 hours of screen on time. No, you didn't. You have to do the math yourself and add it up to find out your true battery life. Okay, see? A lot of folks don't really realize that if you actually want to find your true battery life, you have to go in and do the calculations manually. So that's how I looked at it. 4.5 hours screen on time, 2 days in a row. Yeah, not very good. So that's not what I need. It may be okay for you, and some folks, hey, it'll last all day. If you don't use your phone a lot, then yeah, it should last you all day. I use my phone a lot, so it doesn't last all day. The Pro Max will do that though. It'll last me all day. Pretty much any of the Android flagship phones, they'll last me all day. I'm really torn about this phone because you guys and gals know that I'm not going to use an iPhone with my SIM card in it as my daily driver for the entire year. So if I prefer this size, maybe I might just hang on to this and continue using it when I need to or I want to use it. And maybe it might be finally an upgrade for my iPhone SE. Like the iPhone SE I love, but as you use an iPhone like this and then you go back to the SE, the magic wears off a little less each time because, well, I do like having a little bit bigger screen. I do like having 120 hertz. I like having the 3 cameras. Like, there's a lot. When you take a look at the iPhone SE and then you go to the iPhone 15 Pro, yeah, there's a lot of difference there, right? So this is a smaller version of the Pro Max. Of course, it's just a regular Pro. I mean, duh. But I like having the smaller, more handheld size phone. So we'll see. I'm not entirely convinced, but I'm only going to keep one of them. Like, I'm not keeping both of these. I'm not that big of an iPhone. I don't see the need to have both of them in my life. So this is a decision that I'm going to have to make over the next week. Which one's going to go back to the Apple Store? I haven't made that decision yet. But yeah, the battery life really, really hurts as far as me being able to use this. Like, I can't use it as a daily driver without having to charge it in the middle of the day. And that's just me. So that's kind of my thoughts on it so far. I just wanted to talk about it because whether you're an Android fan, whether you're an iPhone fan, I want to give you my thoughts on it, and that's why you're here. That's why you're watching the videos, and surprisingly, a lot of folks have been watching the iPhone videos, which that's never happened before. Don't worry, this is not turning into an iPhone channel. I actually have a Pixel 8 video coming out. I've got some other stuff going on, some big Android videos in the works coming up that I think is going to make a lot of folks happy. So there'll be more to that in the future. But for right now, I mean, this week is basically kind of iPhone week. So yeah, it's a good phone. It really is. And my thoughts towards the regular models are much different than my thoughts towards the Pro models because the Pro models kind of give you everything. I don't like that this one has the refractory telephoto 5 times and this one doesn't. That really irks me. But other than that, it's mostly the same experience. So if you like the smaller phone, if you don't need a ton of screen on time, like if you're not using your phone looking at it like 6 hours a day, then this is probably a good option for you. But for me, yeah, not so much. And before you critics get in there and you're like, oh, you shouldn't use your phone that much. This is what I do for a living. I make phone videos for a living. I test them out. I'm on my phone all the time, whether it's making videos, whether it's replying to comments, whether it's doing social media, whether it's doing YouTube shorts, whatever. So I need a phone that can keep up and last all day long. The Pro Max is capable of that. The Pro is not for me. And that's the rub. So that's all I got in this video. If you have any questions or comments, of course, please go to the comment section. I'll do my best to get back with you. If you enjoyed the video, and only if, hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.